And then she was like, you know, I think you like light-skinned girls. You know, you sure you don't like light-skinned girls? I was like, and I remember thinking at that point, I was like, what the hell is this conversation? I was like, never been a part of a conversation like this before. But she was really, really, really conscious about that. And in the UK, it's not that different. It's like the demographics not that different. But the perception, at least in this girl's mind, was just she was really conscious or self-conscious about the fact. But she's, you know, she's like, as a black girl, she's got very fair skin. And so I was like, what do you mean you like girls with light skin? You've got really light skin. What are you talking about? Like, and it was, so when you mentioned that now, it just kind of came to mind that it's like something that, in America, is that what's kind of sort of seen or is, you know, 'cause in the UK, like, as in, you'll have people of different shades, like you'll have like a dark skinned person and then you have a light skinned person or something, but and even then, it's not something that, it's not really something that's brought up massively or something, but then you wouldn't distinguish yourself from others, really.
You see this party over
and then that really struck a chord in my mind, and I thought to remember that, like, and I was thinking about, is that a thing like in the US?
For me, like, there's this constant paranoia.
Yeah.
That I try to like not let affect me. Even like over around here, you know what I mean? Like, and I know that I'm educated. I know, and I haven't even like finished college, right? But I know that I'm very educated and articulate. From, you know, even for like, I start talking to people around here, they're like, oh, you know, you start to speak, or they see your mannerisms, like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Because I have a beard, I have dreadlocks, or, you know, I dress a certain way. You know, I know that there's certain assumptions and stereotypes that come along with that. But it creates this paranoia. Like, you see the cops, and they're like, you know, like, I've seen the cops around here a couple of times, and I've had no issues, but like, as soon as you see them, it's like, are they going to stop me or ask me, or like, are they going to be like waiting for me to slip up so they can harass me or whatever? Like, are they wondering what I'm doing in this neighborhood because I haven't seen anyone else that looks like me? You know what I mean? Like, is that going to happen? That space. If you see them from 2 blocks down, you feel that for that 2 blocks, for probably 4 blocks, because the 2 blocks you see them, and then the next 2 blocks while like they're still behind me, don't want to necessarily turn around, I think that I'm being nervous, or you know what I mean? Like, all of that space and energy and time that goes into that if someone else is walking, like just Adam said, he doesn't have to. That should never, like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Unless he has like a pound of weed in his backpack. Imagine if I got a pound of weed in my backpack.
Oh, goodness.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that, right? So, but there has to be some value in that, right? So what is it that I'm supposed to learn?
She could take a watermelon rind and pickle it and make it sweeter than any pickle you ever tasted. And it pisses me off. I don't know how to do that. You know? I mean, like, how the fuck did she do that? Okay? She could make bread in her hand. The best sheets were in her hand. Okay? She could do so much. But her thing was not commercial. Her thing was the heart and soul of the family. The heart and soul of the family, right? Which is total. That's like, I'm gonna sacrifice me for something bigger, something greater. You know, that's your grandmother Rebecca. Your grandfather. Grandfather, you know, very powerful, very, very, very unique gentleman that put his all into a community.
The Hill District in Pittsburgh.
The city of Pittsburgh. The Hill District is the microcosm of the city of Pittsburgh. City of Pittsburgh, and
as the first black police officer.
Motorcycle police officer. There were other motorcycle police officers. Headed up. But see, your grandfather, Your grandfather. Your great grandfather. Charles. Out of all the 50 flags in the United States, the Pennsylvania flag is his. That's his. You know, that's his.
And then I went to the Black Lady Congress and we talked. I heard Ryan talking about all his experience and having, because he's the only black student in first year, he's the only one, and having to stand up and talk about issues that other people didn't see because they didn't experience them, and having to say, wait, because this happens, and I know about it because I've experienced it, right? And I told him, I talked about you, and I say, I feel you, and I've seen this happen with Jessica, because I've had more classes with Jessica than I've had with Jenny or with Lisa.
Or just really anybody that's read a book in their life usually knows about, like...
Yeah, but where she stands up for something, and instead of just making a point, because she's talking about her own experience or her friend's experience, she just appears to be the, angry black young lady. Instead of just someone who's making a point. No, but it's true. Instead of just someone who's making a point about a specific topic. And I told him, so many times I agreed so much with Jessica, and I wanted to stand up and say yes because blah blah blah. But I don't feel like I can do that. I'm allowed to do that because it's not my experience, it's not my case, it's not my history. And he said, you know what? We want people like you to stand up and say, even though it's not my experience, even though it's not my history, I agree, and I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna agree with that person because
you didn't tell me this.
No, I didn't.
Well, that's...
Because it's beyond the experience. It's my external view saying she's right.
It's the observable universe.
Yeah, exactly.
You can comment on the observable
But
universe if you see the things happening.
Yes, the issue is that
should be able to-
that
yeah.
dialogue, at least I haven't been part of it, and mainly because I thought, who am I to say yes, even though I agree with her? Who am I to say this? Because I haven't been through it, my family hasn't been through it, it's not my history. And if I stand up and say so, I'm just going to look like another idiot who's standing up for something she doesn't know.